Let's Play! Hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Analog, a Hate Story. Last time we did some more reading. This time, let's do some more reading. Do we have any extracted documents? Did we finish them all? I don't remember. Yeah, we do. We have a bunch, actually. We have Bao Yu and the Mirror by Hyo Sung-bok. Just in case you want to remember, Hyo Sung-bok was the boy who wanted to go with the other boy. And that's cool. I knew that boy was cruel, but man, I didn't realize just how bad he was. What a fucker. So, this happened last weekend. I went over to his family's place in the plaza at midday. The front area was all but empty. I think there may have been a customer or two at the time, but the only sort who are actually there for food. I don't know why. The food is awful. Hey, I'm going into the back to see him, I said to Mimi's mother, who was behind the counter. Fuck off, the cranky old crone said. Nice. What? Sure thing, I said. I don't really bother arguing with her. Besides, who cares? At the end of the day, I've still taken her son as a lover. That's his phrasing, by the way, not mine. I would have just said I was banging him, but he told me, I like the sound of taking so-and-so as a lover. I want to be taken as a lover. Taken. Starring what's-his-face. That's the kind of possessiveness I like the sound of. I don't really get it. And also, I don't really think that anyone would believe that I'm the one doing the taking. I don't really like the idea of being taken hey, that's what some people's view of love is. I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never had a true relationship. Anyways, sure, I'm taller and manlier and the noble, but he is a domineering little man in comparison to me. But if he says he likes something, then I'll do it. So he's been taken by me as a lover. Anyway, so I walk into the perfectly legal, friendly gambling room in the back. I like that. He wasn't playing, but studying at the computer, which is what I should be doing. I mean, which isn't really weird or anything, but he seemed to be studying together with some other man, which surprised me. I mean, I wasn't jealous or anything. Well, fine, maybe a little. I mean, he does flirt a lot with men. And women, but I don't care about that. Because he's trying to take money out of them. But I know I'm special. Or at least hope that I'm special. Honestly though, I was mostly just surprised at that point. The flirting with the other men is only while playing cards, and studying together is our thing. I said hi to Mimi. He turns around to wave it. That's such a weird name. And the other guy turns around. And look, this is important, I swear. He looks just like me. It's fucking uncanny, okay? Studying hard? I asked Mimi. Still classic literature. The one you said last week was so easy when you did it, he said, affecting a pout. It was cute, although I worried, rightly, that I had actually hurt his feelings. I've been really struggling, so I'm taking a break from gambling to dedicate myself to studies. In retrospect, the idea of him taking a break from gambling should have been the giveaway, but I'm dumb apparently. He's been doing pretty well though. I'm proud of him, his friend said. Want to take a break and go for dinner? I offered. You're welcome to come, too. I trailed off. Sorry, I don't think I caught your name. You two don't know each other already? I would have thought, since you're both, Mimi said, surprised. Huh? Both what? I asked, confused. You're both from the Hyo family, he said. You've really never met? No, I said, earnestly surprised. I stared, trying to figure out if I've seen him before. But I couldn't remember seeing him at any of the family gatherings. That didn't mean a whole lot, though, because, seriously, fuck Hyo family gatherings. That was another chapter, I remember that. I pay as little attention as I possibly can to them. I don't think I could name half my cousins, truthfully. Were you at the last family gathering? I wasn't, unfortunately. I was ill, he said. Fair enough. But I'm Hyo Sung-bok. It's nice to meet you. What's your name? My jaw dropped. Huh? I'm Sung-bok. What's your name? He repeated. It's also Sung-bok. I stammered. Nice to meet you. Anyway, boy, I can't do dinner out. Too poor. We could eat out in front, though, Mimi suggested, meaning his mother's restaurant, which is basically worse than dying. Well, thinking about it right now, maybe it's not actually shit food. Maybe she just has it out for me. Man, fuck, that's totally it, isn't it? Anyway, it didn't seem like a good idea. I'll cover it. Don't worry about it, I insisted. For both of you. Let's just get out of here. Well, fine, Mimi shrugged. We went to this place across from his, which is decent enough. So, are you also in security? I asked the other Sbach. Yes, of course, he said. I'm the second lieutenant of Deck 10, actually. Yourself? I felt really humbled, being way the fuck outranked by this guy. Just a lowly officer on the plaza, sir. Oh, there's no need to sir me, he smiled. Are you alright? You're staring. Mimi laughed, prodding me from under the table. I'm fine, just a little surprised is all, I lied. Honestly, it was kind of freaking me the fuck out. We talked more, even after we'd finished dinner, and frankly, I just got more and more alarmed by how much we had in common past the whole name thing. I mean, the name thing was weird. Neither of the characters in mine are really common at all. And it turned out he even wrote it the same way as mine. And he ordered the same food as me right before I did, and was the same age. Which made me feel pretty shitty about my own accomplishments, let me tell you. Men or women? I asked. Oh, women, he answered. Definitely women. Well, finally there's a difference, I said, exasperatedly. Ahem. That's not how he sounds, but that's what jumped to mind. Mimi cleared his throat conspicuously. Well, except for him. He's cute enough that anyone could make an exception for him, the other Sbach said, looking at him. I was thinking that maybe we could study together with Sbach. That studying together with Sbach could be a regular thing, Mimi said, making flirty eyes. Not in my direction. I'd like to get through the Dream of the Red Chamber together with him at the least, since he's read it. So have I stammered, awkwardly trying to fight for his attention because I am an idiot. Well, we've gotten to chapter 20 already, where Bao Yu sleeps in front of the mirror, remember? Mimi smiled. Besides, don't you think it'd be nice, me being together with Sbach and Sbach? So weird. Okay, is the fact that he doesn't have an entry important? That makes me wonder. I wouldn't have to take up so much of your time, so you could focus more on exams, so you could get promoted. I just gaped in horror at his proposal, as if he could fucking suggest such an awful thing. I don't like saying the swear. It's so forced. I think I'll just skip out from now on. I apologize if it's out of character. I wanted to spend more time with him, not less. And it was just... the thought that was... yeah, it's weird that if I skip it though, because my eyes jump back. The thought that I was basically replaceable in his eyes? I've been worried about that in our relationship, and that I was just some interchangeable noble in his eyes. This was just making it all worse. I really don't think, I just kind of... I stammered something like that. I can't remember the exact wording. Mimi, I don't want to be replaced with some mere version of me, that's... And then I stopped mid-sentence. Do you think he's figured it out yet? The mere Sbach asked him, trying to stifle laughter. I can't keep this up anymore. I told you he hadn't read it, Mimi said enthusiastically. What? You're fucking with me, I finally said. See, that case it's fine. A little, Mimi said. Come on, Dream of the Red Chamber. You're supposed to have studied literature as a part of becoming an officer, the mere Sbach said to me, suddenly switching to a lot less stilted voice. You don't remember the part where Bao Yu meets the other Bao Yu? The thing we spent the past hour reenacting? I was never really good with classical literature, I admitted. See? I'm right, aren't I? Mimi asked, looking at the mere Sbach expectantly. Well, alright, fine, Mimi said. Well, alright, fine, Mimi, he said. That was confused me for a second, reaching into his purse and putting some money down on the table. Like I said before, of course it wouldn't be true that Mimi was taking a break from gambling. Who's a giant fucking idiot? This guy. I cracked up before he figured it out. You win. I'm speechless. Then he said goodbye and left. I can't believe you do that to me, I yelled at him. Wait. Honestly upset. Mimi, you giant fucking cock. No, nobody speaks like that. Sorry, but I've never... Yeah, he really swears so much. Yeah, I agree with you now, Hyune, because I've seen the error, yeah. Mimi got up and came over to my side of the table, sitting next to me. Well, you're an idiot for believing it, he said, wrapping his arms around my shoulder. I was upset at him, but I had a hard time saying no to any physical comfort from him, even when I think he's an asshole. Then he looked at me Then he looked at me, very suddenly and intensely. Oshawott, go away. And said, there's no such things as mere versions of someone. There's no such thing as someone out there who is like you except more desirable. You're special to me. I can't believe you're actually stupid enough to think that I could find any way to replace you at all. There's no such thing as someone who I'd love in the way I love you. Why can I not read? Am I perfectly clear? Yeah, I croaked. I felt pretty humbled and touched. Still upset, but mostly touched. It was sweet in his own awful way. If you're not too mad at me, I'm gonna kiss you now. It's gonna make you... They always say, like, they're always like, I'm going to kiss you, or can we kiss? It's like, I don't know. Is that how it's like in real life? I wouldn't know. I'm still single. Because you're special, and have a good taste, and are someone I love, he said, leaning close. If that's alright with you. Yeah, it is, I reluctantly said. Cruel fucker. It's truly a weird couple. And now with the Hyo A-jung, the actress woman, I actually needed to look up, because I'm when you don't play this game for a week, you really I have trouble with the names myself. I'm not sure if you guys do. How long are we at? We are at 11 minutes. We can keep going. Okay. I should just get a timer on my phone so I don't ruin immersion. I Make Everything Worse by Hyo A-jung. I fear that I may not be... I fear that I may only be causing my cute little flower Jin-ah to wilt. Does my presence in her life bring her hardship? By being the subject of her impossible dreams, do I only cause her more suffering when the seams of the artifice become exposed? I fear that I give her false hope, a false sense of security, and that I will only make things worse when I fail her. Worse, I find myself shielding her from the truth. I wanted to tell her about the patronage that I had been reluctantly forced to consider. That was my intent when I came to see her. I knew something so pivotal to my future, and therefore hers, was something I needed to discuss with her. When I arrived at her family stand in the plaza, at closing time, a man who I rightfully assumed was her father was engaged in an intense-looking conversation with her. Go away, Flash! Jeez! Don't even need you right now. God, stupid Flash, you're the worst superhero. I would have stood nearby and waited for them to finish, but when he saw me, he walked out without another word. A troubled look was on his face as he passed me, and he just shook his head at me. In retrospect, I knew exactly what that look signified, and I could not, in good faith, disagree with the sentiment, for I knew it was out of earnest concern for my love's well-being. She has a daughter? Or wait. I cannot in good faith disagree, for I knew it was out of my earnest prefer his daughters. I'm stupid. I'm so dumb. I cannot read today. I just had Chinese food and I think it's affecting me. But at the time I knew not what to make of it, and was more concerned with Jin-ah herself. No smile lit her reddened face, only tears. She stared at me, quivering. That's true. That's true. But then again, at the same time, you don't always know exactly what your father's true intention is. I don't know. A lot of things have multiple ways of looking at it, so... She stared at me, quivering, light glistening off her eyes. Then she rushed towards me. When I hugged her tightly, she let go of whatever inhibition was holding her back and started to cry with great sadness. I felt a pang in my chest to see her so, and all I could do was stroke her hair and tell her, there, as she cried into my shoulder. I wish I could find her a more private place than just letting her cry in public, but her home would be more crowded, and the back room I sleep in was in use during the day. If only I still had the apartment behind the theater. At least there weren't many people about at this hour. After a while, she calmed down at least a little bit, or at least ran out of energy to keep sobbing, and I sat her down. Oh, little flower, do you wish me to get you some tea to help calm your nerves? Then we can talk about it, I offered. She nodded. Thanks, she said, and I was grateful, because I needed it for my own nerves as much as she. I left her alone, and hurried to the nearest machine I could find in the plaza. When I returned, she didn't seem to have moved at all. I sat down next to her. "Hey," I said to her, wrapping my arm over her. "Canned tea?" That's different, yeah. Where did it say can? Oh, nearest machine. Okay, I get it. Oh, so it's like, oh, I guess iced tea maybe. "Hot or cold?" She sniffled. "Hot, please," she said. I handed her the can. She opened it, took a long sip, and sighed. "Tell me about it, dear," I told her, pulling her in close. "Dad wants me to get married," she said in a wavering voice. "My family gets paid so little these days. It's so hard with 5 people in our one-room home. And, well, look at how big I am. I practically eat enough for 2, she said, laughing awkwardly. Then she started sniffling again, and took another sip from her tea. "I mean, it's always been crowded at home, even before Grandma and Grandpa moved in, and I always wanted to move out anyway. But we can't afford it. We can't afford to," I said, what we both already knew very well. Or we'd be drinking wine together in a restaurant instead of a vending machine tea in the back of a stall. She started to cry again, and I felt another pang in my heart. My levity only made things worse. "Yeah," she stammered between sobs. "Dad was talking to me all. Please just hear him out. He's a good man. I mean, the guy himself, I'm sure he's nice, but I want to be with you. I love you, I just want to be with you." No, don't marry some old man. I don't know, I feel like I'm beyond making comments now, because everyone, I've noticed in the comments, everyone has their own separate opinions on this, so, ugh. I held her tightly as her poor tears gripped my heart, and I wished there was anything I could do. "What about the stand? Wouldn't you make more money for the family if you could still work? Even if you didn't keep any wages for your own savings, perhaps it'd be better?" I asked, expecting there to be an answer for why that wouldn't help. And there was. Apparently the flower stand barely made any money these days, and what didn't go to rent instead went for plaza bribes to desperate nobles. Well, interesting. It sounded like the only reason they had it now was still for her own sake. "Maybe I'll run away. I could take my savings and just sleep behind the theater at night. Try to find odd work during the day, or just something," she cried out, tears falling from her face. "Do you know why this man wants to marry some girl he's never met? Do you know why?" I asked. "He's just as poor as us. Do you know why? Even though I'm ugly and too young, and I'm just some random stranger and there's no love or anything? Taxes! Because there's some big tax break for new fathers. Taxes!" I had, in fact, known. It was a recent big political issue, but I said nothing and let her have her moment. She took another sip from her can, then suddenly crushed it in her fist. "I don't want to be a kid." She stared at me with a look of absolute horror, starting to wail. I don't want to have a kid. No, not be a kid. Whoops. I don't want to have a kid. I don't care how nice he is. I don't want to move in with some strange man and then have sex with him and get knocked up and then have to raise some stupid kid, then I never see you. I don't want to. She started to hyperventilate, and all I could do... Oh my goodness, my phone vibrated and that scared me. Can you guys stop? Seriously, I'm just... Every single part. She started to hyperventilate, and all I could do was hold her, hush her, tell her to breathe, until she calmed down a little. "Maybe I'll run away," she said again, wiping her face with her sleeve. "Do you think you could? If your parents were going to force you to do such a thing, would you be able to go against them?" I asked her, knowing entirely that she never would. She said nothing, but just grabbed me tightly, and Brother is now playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and I stared at her poor swollen face, her tear-filled eyes looking so hurt. And then I thought of my own situation. How not only could I not comfort this poor hurt girl that I had allowed to depend on me for comfort. How not only I had let her down, but how all this is difficult to read, wow. But how also my future was just as doomed as she was having so much trouble admitting hers was. That is a train wreck of English. Her only hope lied in a loveless sham marriage. Mine in the graces of a graces of a private patron. Either way, our love would inevitably be torn asunder. At least it would offer stability, somehow escaped my lips. I hadn't meant to think about aloud like that. She had no words. She only grabbed me tighter, started to wail loudly again. She cried a river of tears against my breast, sobbing uncontrollably, and I found myself overwhelmed by pity. I started to cry a little too, and forced myself to remain silent, lest I somehow find a way to worsen the scenario even more. Oh boy. Oh, okay, cool, break time. Yeah, sure, okay, this'll make things easier for me. Hey, it's a good time to take a break, isn't it? Some of the things we've been reading have been really intense. I don't really like some of the feelings they're bringing up in me. So let's take a break and talk about something else. That is. Sorry, jeez, this is awkward. I just really don't know what to say. Yeah, I have nothing. Sorry. I guess after all I was taught, I'm still pretty lousy in filling a silence, aren't I? Well, I guess we should just get back to reading? That's something I'm good at doing. Sorry, I know it's really awkward. Oh. Hey, we got an inbox. We'll read that, then we'll go. Please deliver the AI. John Kim. What is this? I hope this letter finds you well. Thank you again for your work in recovering the Mugunghwa's records and at least partially solving the mystery of what caused the tragedy on board. We hope you find the agreed upon payment to be acceptable. However, there's still an outstanding issue. We have reason to believe that your report was not entirely forthcoming, and that you were able to recover an AI identifying as Kim Hyun-ae from the ship as well. I'd like to personally remind you that the terms of the contract were to deliver all the data recovered from the Mugunghwa, which would include all the code associated with her too. Oh, that's not good. Don't worry, we have no interest in prosecuting her. Nobody in the galaxy has authority to, regardless. Nor do we believe her to actually be the same entity as the woman responsible for committing the genocide on the Mugunghwa. However, as a sole survivor for the ship and carrier of Kim Hyun-ae's memories, she could provide invaluable information on the disaster that occurred, and it's important that she testifies her experience to us. You don't have a vested interest in obscure UKSPA history, but for the sake of all the people who died, it's important that we learn all that we can. Your employer has told me that you'll be in the solar system within a couple of days. We'd be very happy to arrange a meeting with you and the Hyun-ae construct while you're in the region. As this is a part of the already paid for contract, I hope discussing this issue with your boss doesn't become necessary. It's just very important that we hear all there is. There has to be something else. Looking forward to hearing from you soon, John Kim. John, it's always a John. Every game it's a John. Okay, guys, next time we'll continue reading. I really don't want to give them Hyun-ae. Fight with my life for Hyun-ae to be my wife. That rhymed, and it's so awesome. See you guys next time. Ciao.